Hey, business owners. I have an amazing news that I want to share with you today. We have been working very hard to create a tool that gives you quickly insights on the resilience of your business. How resilient is your business? And this is coming from a place where, as a CPA, I sit with many business owners, and sometimes they have no idea the level of risk their business is running into, or where are the vulnerabilities in their businesses, and therefore they are surprised when something small hits them and breaks their business. And we created this tool as a result of these hundreds of conversations with business owners across the nation. And today I want to share with you what we do for our paid clients, the process we've run them through step by step. Okay, I'm gonna put on my screen here, right in front of us, exactly the framework we use to walk business owners just like you, navigate in less than 30 minutes. They get a sense of where their business stands, what are the areas of exposure, and what they should be doing to correct this vulnerability to make their businesses a little bit more resilient. So we have broken down these workbook into five key areas. We ask business owners really around their cash flow management and financial reserves, because we understand without cash, your business doesn't really have a lot of room to grow, to expand, right? There is a lot more vulnerability in your business when you don't have, right, appropriate level of cash flow funding your business. So let us look into what is that, right? So how long could your company operate without new revenue, right? For many businesses, we really see less than have any reserves or whatsoever. Very seldom we find small businesses with at least 1 to 3 months of cash flow. I'm gonna be very generous and just throw here 1 to 3 months of cash flow to continue running the business. The second area that we want to pay attention is around documentations of the business processes and procedures. Small businesses typically fail to address this key area, and as a result, we see a lot of impro. We see a lot of what runs the business is really just sitting on somebody's head, and other people don't really know how things are done. So let's look into this first question. Are operational processes, production, delivery, documented and consistently followed by the team? This means if you are, let's say, a real estate business, right, a property management business, you have a process that is documented around how you run your operations. How do you deliver value to your clients? If you are a daycare business, do you have these processes for tending for children or their parents, right? Documented, and it's consistently followed by people from your team, right? What we often see here is that, yes, knowledge is large rather than on paper or documented. In our firm, we do a lot of our training or systems and processes recorded just like these, right? We record them, we put them there in a library where anybody in our team can access them and run things, right? So we see a lot of knowledge is mostly in people's head rather than on paper, partially documented and used. Very seldom, if ever, we find fully documented team. So again, I'm gonna be generous and just give us a B here for this question. The next question, is there a consistent, replicable process for generating new clients? We all know without new clients, a business cannot survive. A business has no future when there isn't any new client. So many businesses, the owner know how to get client, but it hasn't really created processes how he or she does it well, so that other people can simply look at the manual and follow and achieve similar results. So for this, what we really see is people rely half nation or isolated effort. Whoever is achieving success, other people are not necessarily achieving similar level of success, right? So that's something that a lot of small business owners still need to actually work on. The next question, are financial records up to date and used in decision making? If you haven't figured just yet, this question really addresses the quality of your information system, right? Do you have an information system that provides to you timely, relevant, reliable financial information that you can use to make important business decisions. And again, most business owners don't have up-to-date information. Their information is beyond 3 6 months, right? Their bookkeeping needs to be caught up for months, if not years. They haven't even filed their tax return yet because their books are still a mess, right? So it's a very important, and we often find disorganized or incomplete information or data, right? Similar to that, is there a structured process for recruiting, onboarding, and evaluating team members, right? That deals with talent acquisition, with HR processes, right? Do you have a system that is set in stone, right? We understand we have to improve it, but do we have something to start with that allows us to attract great talent, to bring on board really good people that we know how to train them, how to bring them to speed, and how to compensate and evaluate them based on their performance, right? And again, for many organizations, right, we see a lot of basic and informal processes, right? It's informal, it's, half baked, right? Nobody really knows, okay, this is our procedures, this is how we do things, right? And then last but not least, right, do we have a system in place to measure and continuously improve, right, our internal processes? Do we have something like that? Do we, maybe on a monthly basis, just or quarterly basis, evaluate what are we doing well, what are we not doing well, where are we moving, what's working, what's not working, right? And again, most organizations, right, don't have a decision making process, right, that is systematic. There isn't systematic analysis. There isn't anything that allows them to actually, see where they are and how they can improve things. So after that, we're looking into risk management and contingency planning, especially things outside of the company, right? Do we have, right, a written and team-wide non-contingency plan? If A happens, do we have a response for it, right? If there is a political turmoil, if there is an economic crisis, if there is a health, a pandemic or an epidemic or technological shift, how do you respond to it, right? So, and again, and a lot of small businesses, right, have shown people have some ideas, but they're not very well structured. Some are developing them, but it really haven't been implemented, right? So we're gonna be generous and give it a B again. Now we're moving into the one of the areas that in our firm we talk about a lot, and we are not afraid of talking about this because we see it, right, as one of the biggest problems that many small business owners have, but lack the capabilities to address. And this is around critical dependencies, from owner dependency, key personnel dependency, key suppliers, and even client dependency, right? So this is major client dependencies, major clients here, right? We're really number one. Can your company run normally without you at least for 30 years, 30 days, excuse me, right? So for a lot of business, for most business, especially one person shop, right? It's a no. For many small businesses, yes, the owner can step away, but the business will run with significant challenges. Do you have backup substitute for critical roles, right? And for again, many small businesses, it's gonna be we rely in one or two people for critical function, right? A lot of vulnerabilities there. Key suppliers, they are businesses who rely exclusively on one or two major supplier. Again, another major risk, client concentration, right? Is a large portion of your revenue coming from one of your clients, right? So ideally, we like to see businesses with, no more than 10% of total revenue coming from one single client, right? So again, we see a lot of one or more clients contributing 10 to 20% of revenue, right? With exception, excuse me, in certain industries where we see it's just the nature of the industry having smaller ticket and large volume of clients, right? And one client to have 1% is really 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 challenging. Retail, for example, restaurants and bars, no one client buys 5% of your beers or alcohol or meals in a given year. So but let's keep moving. And the last question is really around scalability and sustainable growth, right? Does your current structure allow you to grow without breaking your margin, without compromising quality or breaking the processes, right? So again, if we start from the perspective that many small businesses, if not most, don't have good enough processes and systems in place to continue running, right? These last question, it's just a slap on our face, really. And very often we see growing now could cause failure or overload. If business owners are being really honest with themselves, right? Not that they're lying to us, but one of the biggest issue we often see is when people believe so much into what they think is the reality of the business, to the extent where they remove the possibility that they could be wrong about what they believe, right? So I think that's the biggest problem, not so much that somebody is trying to lie or anything like that. So back to this, right? We see a lot of growth depends heavily on personal effort and improvisation, and more often than not, right, growing now could cause failure or overload. Despite that, right, we still see a lot of business owner trying to grow. So let's see what is the summary for that, what the result we're gonna be getting, right? When we are running a business, right? And this is our scoring, right? This is our scoring. We got 53 out of 100, right? And we know what is that in school. That's gonna be an E, right? It's a failing grade. A failing grade, meaning that we are in a critical resilience failure, right? We are in a critical resilience failure because our business, right, is exposed to extreme risk and may already be in decline potentially. And if we're not seeing the decline happening just yet in our business, it means that there are many invisible risks brewing underneath the carpet that you're not seeing, and that any moment, right, something may happen and trigger for your business fall. So we're not showing you this to scare you away, to make you feel afraid, but we're giving you insight so that you can act on and prevent your business from collapsing. Okay, that's our goal. We're not here to make you feel some type of way or to say you're a failure. No, we're here to help you. And as a CPA firm today, our focus is to help business owners like you run successful businesses. That's it, right? This analysis is really designed, right, to give us a clear perspective where our business stack up, right, in our journey, and how can we make it better. And this is the result. I hope this was helpful to you. And Facebook pages, LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, and if this was valuable to you and you believe it can help somebody, share the link with them, right? Or send us their name. We're gonna reach out to them. Okay. Again, I'm gonna pause here. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.